speakers. We're going to have Jean Bailey come and do a speech entitled, what was the title against me? Jean?
5 steps to overcome your fear of public speaking.
5, this is what I need to do. 5 steps to overcoming your fear of public speaking, and he will be evaluated today by this.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our distinguished guests, I'm excited to share with you 5 steps to overcoming your fear of public speaking. But first, let me back up with a question. We've heard it said, fear. When you spell that out, that acronym, F-E-A-R, it was mentioned, I think, first by the speaker, the salesman, Zig Ziglar, that it's nothing more than false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. What is built in our mind and built in your mind may not be the reality. False evidence appearing real. I am grateful to be here because this is where I started my Toastmasters journey, which will be 7 years ago, next month, February. You heard earlier about the icebreaker speech. That's a speech that we share in Toastmasters just to tell yourself a little bit about, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are. I gave my first icebreaker speech April 19, 2012, right where Carpet is sitting, with fear and trembling. Not at this particular lecture, but one like it. My knees were knocking, palms were sweating. I wanted to hide behind the lectern. I was ripping it so hard. My tongue was stuck to the roof of my mouth. And I don't know if there's anyone in the room that's ever felt this way, but my heart was pounding so hard, it wanted to explode out of my chest. And no, I didn't want to hope to come see you, Mom. Okay, that's it. But that fear can be crippling. Let me ask a question about that fear we call glossophobia, the fear of public speaking. And the question I'll ask you is it really the fear of public speaking that we're afraid of? Or could it be, as I'm learning in this journey, the fear of what others may think if I make a mistake while speaking in public? The fear of making a mistake. Well, I want to share with you what I'm learning in this Toastmasters journey. I've had the opportunity to serve as this club president, and now within the district, that's a larger representation of Toastmasters. We are in District 40, and our clubs, there's 5 to 6 clubs that make up what's called an area, and there are about 5 or 6 areas that make up what's called a division. Columbus has 3 of those divisions, a third of 9 divisions that make up the district. And this district is covering Central Ohio, Northern Kentucky, Southern Ohio, Northern Kentucky, and West Virginia. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to learn here in this workshop, these 5 steps that now I'm catapulted moving into new leadership. The first step, as our Toastmaster Marcus mentioned, is prepared speeches. Prepared speeches. The first step, you will learn how to find speech topics. That was my first hurdle. My mentor, Liz Reed, who you'll meet if you keep coming back, Liz Reed, shared with me, Gene, why don't you speak about your passion? You have a passion? I said, oh, Liz, I know it's a month away, but I can't think of anything. Why not speak about your passion? It was the spring in that year, of April. I said, well, I'm passionate about track and field. It was an Olympic year. I happened to have a cousin that was running for the U.S. And she said, why don't you speak about track and field? And I did. That icebreaker speech was entitled, While on the Runway of My Life. It was an analogy of the long jump, which is one of the field events. What is your passion? You'll learn about finding speech topics. You'll learn how to organize a speech, how to use your hands, what to do with your facial expressions, how to get comfortable with visual aids, which is a challenge I'm still working on, how to get humor in your presentations, all within the first step, prepared speeches. Second step is what we call impromptu or extemporaneous speaking. We call that, Toastmasters, table topics. Has your boss ever come to you, or your boss while you're at the computer, come to you and ask you a question in which you have to give a response on the fly? You got to give an intelligent response. Table topics helps us to create a response on the fly. It might not be that. It might be a 15-year-old or 15 going on 16-year-old daughter that asks you the question, Daddy, or she said, Daddy, which one of these prom dresses should I pick out? And I responded, well, Nina, either one is great because both pale in comparison to your. And I remember that moment. And that may sound hokey to you, but it's a moment. And one of the things that this the table topics allows you to do is to be in the moment, be in the present. Step number 3 is probably one of the greatest steps toward getting free, and that is someone's evaluation or feedback of your presentation. And that feedback is in the moment, it's now, and it gives you a compass on what you can improve on. It allowed me to start to move away from what I'm starting to call now my shore, and allow you to move away from your shore. This lectern was my shore. It was my comfortability, my safe haven, so I could hide behind. But I got a feedback, I think at speech 4 or 5, that Junior could read your notes. Move into an outline format, boil down your points to 3 or 5, and start to move away from the shore. That was step number 3. Step number 4, leadership opportunities, inside and outside the club. Well, you say, well, how does that deal with the fear of public speaking? Well, leadership, believe it or not, goes hand in hand with communication. Leadership often is, I'm learning one of the key disciplines of leadership is listening. We have to begin to listen to our audience. We love in the West, in the U.S., that we think we need to fill all our space with words, with verbiage, when a pause may do the trick. A pause may allow you to hear your audience, and more than that, your audience to hear you, to allow your ideas to sink in just that little bit more. Evaluation, leadership opportunities. Now, I mentioned there's leadership opportunities in the club, and there's leadership opportunities in a meeting, such as timer, such as evaluator, such as speaker. There's leadership opportunities at the club level to be an officer. There's leadership opportunities within the district. These different leadership levels, or I call dimensions, allows you to learn different aspects of leadership. Club level, area level, district level, in the meeting. The last step, and I'll try to end it here. What would you say, anybody would say the distance between here, this point A and this point B would be? Anyone? Linearly on the floor from there to there? How far would you say? 3 feet. What's that? 3 feet. About 3 feet. Okay. Well, I propose to you today, Todd, it's not 3 feet, but 5 worlds apart from me. worlds from this point to this point. We talk a lot about PowerPoints and the PowerPoint presentation I offer to you today. You are the point of power. What you'll learn in this Toastmasters journey is that you are the point of power. If you don't have a PowerPoint, learn to be the point of power. This point here, the last point, is something that I think transported me in a quantum leap from there to here, and that's called mentorship. A mentor will take you by the arm, guide you through your first 3 speeches, and on through the Toastmasters journey. A mentor who will provide at the club level to you, and now within Pathways, you can have mentors in different clubs around the world. There's no limit. But that mentor is more than a coach. They're a confidant. They're a person that you can call and ask about all aspects of communication and leadership. I would not be here today but for the grace of God and my mentors. Step number 1, prepared speeches. Step number 2, extemporaneous and impromptu speaking we call table topics. Step number 3 is evaluation, which we call feedback, hearing back immediately. Step number 4 was leadership, and step number 5 is mentorship. I strongly urge that Brad, and Marlon, and Ibram, that you are in the right place at the right time. Hold on to this process, and you will not regret it. 1 minute. Mr. Toastmaster.